Hello, and welcome to Route 28, making right turns on US 1 because nobody wants to be wrong. My name's L. David Pollock, and I'm coming to you from the free state of Florida, where right turns on red is the rule. Before we get started, please take a moment to tap that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up button. Thank you. Today we're going to talk about Title 42 and the fact that it's going to expire on May 11th. I think we had an issue back maybe a month or two ago where it was going to expire and it got extended. Now it's going to expire because the whole idea behind Title 42 is to expel immigrants and illegal immigrants. They are illegal immigrants. I hate when everybody calls them immigrants. They are illegal immigrants. It gives the U.S. the power. Actually, it's the U.S. giving the U.S. the power, which, come on, to expel immigrants for medical reasons. If they're sick with COVID, they can't come in. Of course, nobody was testing them, so that was kind of, irrelevant. But anyway, all right, so a bunch of illegal immigrants have come into this country. They've brought COVID with them, and we don't even know who they are or where they are. That's our immigration policy today. It's a health crisis. It's exacerbated by the fact that, along with sick individuals that were coming in, there was also fentanyl. And that brings me to my next point. If Title 42 is designed to protect the health and welfare of American citizens here legally, then what's the fentanyl problem? Isn't that a health crisis? It's coming over in tons, I think. The stuff is killing Americans every single day. I think that's a health crisis. Title 42 should not be lifted. It should be strengthened. It should be enforced with vigor. Because right now, we might not be dying so much from COVID, but that's just the natural progression of a virus. Fentanyl is a deadly drug. It's going to keep killing until we stop it. That's a health crisis. There's no reason to lift Title 42. But, hey, that's just my opinion. We also have other crises going on that are being completely ignored, and a lot of it has to do with illegal immigration at our southern border and even our northern border now. We have inflation. We have bank closures. We have interest rates. And you say, well, how is that related to inflation? Let me explain to you how that's related. The left likes to argue that the reason we need immigrants, which they're illegal immigrants, is to fill the jobs that aren't being filled by Americans. And on the face, you might say, that's true. I see help wanted signs everywhere, and nobody's doing those jobs. Again, it's a problem created by the left as a crisis because what are we doing? Our government is paying people not to work. They make more money not working than they do by working. Therefore, they don't take the jobs. Who's paying them that money? It's coming from the taxpayer. It's coming from the government. That's inflationary. Oh, yeah. People are not doing anything to produce in this society, and they're getting bundles of money. All right. Well, that's inflation. Bank closures. What does immigration have to do with bank closures? Well, it's a bit of a stretch, but if you think about it, the economy as a whole is a system that has to support everybody. If we have an influx of, I think I heard a number of over 6 million people already into a economy that was just recovering from the COVID crisis, well, somebody has to pay for those people. Well, who's paying for those people? The American government's printing money. That money's coming from somewhere. It's not coming from, donations. It's not coming from hardworking people saying, yes, here's the money for all these illegal immigrants because I want them as my neighbor. No, that's not what's happening. Definitely is not what's happening. What's happening is these people are coming over. Somebody's got to feed them. Somebody has to clothe them. Somebody has to house them. That money is coming from your federal government. Where do they get it? They push a button, print money. That's inflationary. Bank closures are happening because inflation has skyrocketed. Go to the grocery store today and try and buy what you could buy just 3 months ago with the same amount of money. Can't do it. I guarantee you can't do it. That's inflation. Well, when inflation goes up and banks have committed to financial investments that only pay 1 or 2%, most of those I think are treasury bonds, their assets become less. Their value decreases. Inflation goes up. You can make more money putting your money somewhere where it earns 5% instead of just 1%. So everybody does that. I mean, it makes sense. Bank closures. Now, the bank closure crisis has another aspect to it that's probably going to be a whole video all of its own, and that is the nationalization of our banking system. A terrible, terrible thing. It's got all sorts of negative aspects to it and zero positive aspects to it. J.P. Morgan's at the forefront of that, just so you know. And of course, when you expand the economy to pay for all these things by printing money, inflation steals from everybody. So that's the situation we find ourselves in. And it's all due, at least in part, to this illegal immigration influx. It's expensive. Somebody's paying for it. Nobody's talking about it. We're paying for it. I'm sick and tired of the left using the immigration crisis as an excuse for immigration reform. We don't have to reform anything. What we have to do, because we know it works, we didn't have any immigration problem during the Trump years, but the border was still there, the people were still there, everything was the same except we had a wall. And we have to finish that wall because walls work. That's the first thing. The second thing we have to do is we don't have to reform immigration. We have to enforce the immigration laws that we already have. And I'd like to add a little something to that. I think as a condition of immigration to America, you need to demonstrate a desire to learn English and a proficiency in English. Now, you know what I'm saying? Don't come here, I'll give you a for instance. Don't come here, get on a bus, speak Spanish to the bus driver. The bus driver doesn't understand you, so you get angry and you start cursing in Spanish. You have no right to do that. This is an English-speaking country. If you're coming over from Ecuador, Nicaragua, or wherever it is you're coming from, learn to speak at least a little bit of functional English so that you can get on a bus and you can get to where you want to go and you don't have to curse out the bus driver because he doesn't speak Spanish. This is America. We don't speak Spanish here. We speak English. Learn English. Now, I think as an extension of that, we need to require all immigrants, every single one of them, to demonstrate an actual proficiency in English after, say, a year to 18 months in this country. If you can't prove that, then you're going, say you're having a hard time. All right, people have hard times. We'll put them on probation. After 2 years, if you can't get a functional grasp of English, then your immigration status should be nullified. You're not demonstrating a real desire to become an American. You're just demonstrating a desire to come to America and take advantage of everything we have to give you and live your life like you were living in whatever country you came from. Now, you have the freedom in this country to do that, but in your own home. When you go out in public, you need to be able to function in society, and speaking English is a big part of it. All right, I'm done with that rant for now. Back to the subject. Let me conclude by saying we need some real solutions, not reforms. And the solutions start by enforcing the immigration laws that we already have. The solutions start by eliminating the influx of fentanyl killing our young people every single day. The solution starts with building a wall, securing our border, because a country without a border is just not a country. And we have to stop paying people not to work. How ignorant is that? Okay, I don't even have a degree in economics, and I know that is the only thing that you can define that as, besides insane, is inflationary. And the most important thing we have to do is stop making illegal immigration legal. So put people to work, stop paying them not to work, finish the wall, enforce the immigration laws that we have. And I'm going to throw something out there that really is going to light people on fire. We need to expel everybody who came in the past 4 years. I'll tell you what, they're all illegal. As they came in because Joe Biden invited them, and they even wore T-shirts saying as much, thanking him for it. An invitation by Joe Biden is not legal immigration. We have laws that govern this thing. We need to enforce those laws. When we start doing that, we'll immediately see improvements in this country, and, dare I say, a substantial increase in the standard of living that we are accustomed to. And we should be accustomed to it because we work for it. Okay, until next time. Route 28, making right turns on US 1 because nobody wants to be wrong. Have a great day.